Welcome everybody to the Broken Ring Racing League. This is season 9, round 6, the final round here at Navarra. We are at the end of practice with 6 minutes 37 seconds to go. I'm Jason Alvarez, your commentator, and co-commentating with me is Cody Wassum.
Hello. Good evening.
And with that in mind, just going to start moving around here. Cody previously was a driver that has raced in the Broken Ring Racing League. What was that? We did the we've done the GT3. Oh, you've done the GT3s
GT3, Formula 4.
and those little ones. The was it the Formula Fours or was it the
Yeah, it was the F4 car.
yeah, the F4 car? Yeah,
What is going on
and
here?
some shenanigans is happening at the end of the pit lane here.
Tomfoolery.
Yeah, and as practice is ending, and quite interesting, people would do that. You know, treat practice like you're treating anything else, but
Talking about practice.
yeah, it is practice.
Controversial opinion. I don't think we have enough Corvettes in this field.
Yeah,
It's a Corvette and Porsche spec series.
it's a
Hey, if it,
Corvette
if it works, it works.
and Mustangs. I mean, there's as many Mustangs out there almost, but I would say yeah, you're right. There's a ton of Corvettes. The good news, or I guess one thing to let people know in terms of what's happening here in practice, the results are in. Only one driver has made it into the 138s, and that's your leader right now is Jacob Simmons. Everyone else is in the 139s, 140s, and 141s, and so it's quite this narrow field here. So the pace is all there, which is quite good to see. Uh, what Wassum, you've raced with some of these drivers before. Is there anyone in particular that you remember that you're thinking, wow, that they're doing pretty strong right now in the timing charts here?
Um, it's been a couple seasons since I've been around, but I remember Trey Mistack for sure.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah. Trey's leading the championship right now in the driver
Always,
championship.
always strong pace wise, but he's also very consistent. Which it's good putting in a strong lap here or there, but if you can do that over and over, you can make yourself quite difficult to overtake or keep from or defend. So yeah, I think Trey's going to be a contender in this one, and he's also can be pretty patient from what I remember. He kind of just gets tucked in if you're going to be a little bit troublesome about battling early on, he'll kind of just sit there and wait you out and keep the pressure on. And in my case, I usually ended up making a mistake. In the rare instance, I was actually in front of Trey. Um, yeah, I recognize a few names here.
Yeah,
It's been a while though.
and all Trey has to do is stay consistent, finish in the top 10, even the top 15. He's got the driver championship in the bag if it stays that way. Jacob Simmons, who his teammate is Chris Lambeth for the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. They are fighting in the champion. That's a mouthful. For the team championship, they are number one right now with Draft Punk Racing just behind them. Draft Punk Racing is Peter Flanner and Elliot Burton, both sitting in the pit lane right now. But that is a contentious battle in the team standings, as well as Peter Flanner just shy of 10 points. Or actually, no, gross points right now. 10 points are separating him on the gross points. There's a drop week. He's actually down about 90 something, 80 something points. If I could do math on the fly, I would, folks, but I can't. But Peter Flanner in P2 in the Driver Championship, if he can get a win in, and if somehow Trey gets torpedoed out of this race, he could lose the Driver Championship this season. Also, don't discredit Jacob Simmons, who's sitting in third. If both Peter Flander and Trey Misek have a bad day and he finishes number one, he might actually take the championship himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of stake here. Talking about the team championship, I think it would be pretty interesting to. Hopefully, a lot of these teammates will qualify pretty close together, and we
Yeah,
might see a little bit of strategy, a little bit of chess going on between teammates, because we know, I would assume a lot of these guys are in some type of voice chat with their teammates so they can communicate about these different things. Um, I don't know. I've still got that on the mind from the Formula One race earlier today. But yeah, well, I think as we were talking about before the race, Jason, this
Mhm.
given the nature of the track, you've got a lot of hard braking points and a couple straights, particular long one leading into turn one. But I've done a few races here, only a couple in GT3, but it's surprisingly difficult, I found, to pass people. Um,
Yeah, I
at
think that's going
least
to
a
be the
pretty
interesting part. Yeah.
clean pass. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've got these hard braking points throughout this middle sector. You can see Christopher going through now that if you get a little bit of a run, you can go for a lunge, but it's those type of moves. The guy you're trying to pass kind of has to be complicit and let you go in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think it's kind of a track that if you want to hold somebody off, you can have quite an easy time holding them off. If you want to make their life difficult, so I think qualifying will be pretty important. But yeah, also there will be the potential for some pit strategy, overcut, undercut, that type of stuff.
Yeah, can't wait to see what happens here. Trey Misek's the first driver on to the grid or onto the track to start his outlap for qualifying. We have 9 minutes and 38 seconds on this, and Peter Flander in P2. One thing I wanted to note for you, for the viewers, as well as my co-commentator here, Cody Wassum, is that the Pax Oceani team, Alpha and Bravo, the Alpha team is John Javecki and Christopher Daniel. The Bravo team is Alan Paris and Alex Othen. We're going to see them a lot. They have a way about them. These drivers are always close to each other in qualifying and close to each other in the races. I mean, sometimes you'll see them pass each other, but not rare. I mean, it is pretty rare. It's a mistake that's one's gotten by them. They're all fast, quick drivers, but the Alpha and Bravo team are facing each other in the team championship for P3, and they're only separated by a couple differences in the points. You have Christopher Daniel. I mean, you hope that he's going to maximize his position here. He's got John Javecki, who I'm not sure is even in this race right now. Uh, if he is, I haven't seen him on the board here. It's going to be a tough one for them. I hope the Alpha team outscores its Bravo team, but then you also have the Crab Cake team. Pax Oceani really are trying to bully the field with three teams on the board, and the Pax Oceani Crab Cake team is JD Daniel and Matthew Baldwin, and they, I believe, are here racing. At least one of them is. And we'll go over to Trey Mistack, who's on his flyer, and I'm going to bring it over to Cody Wassum, kind of explain to the viewers what's going on here.
Yeah, we've got a tricky turn one and two complex here. Normally, with the long straight you have there, you would think that turn one would be a good place to pass, but it's actually kind of tricky as you don't necessarily have a hard braking point the first couple of turns. And we're running down here, I believe it's turn 4 or 5. It's pretty high speed on the entry and gradually slows down and closes up on you, tightens up, and you come back out. This is the first of one of these hard right-hand corners, hard braking point, sharp corner. We got another mid-length straight. This is another overtaking opportunity, but again, pretty difficult. Your apex is tight, your exit closes up on you. As we wind around, we got this double left-hand section here. Pretty easy to run wide there, and this corner can be quite tricky. Take too much of that curb. It either upsets the car or can push you out in that gravel. Once again, we're in a tight right-hander, and this corner here, little kink flat out, can probably take that too wide as well. And then in the final corner, pretty tricky as you're going uphill, a little bit off camber too. And going in there, you kind of have to trust your instincts turning in that final corner because you're kind of facing away from the apex as you're braking.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little easier on the guys that have triple monitor setups or VR, but for us single monitor guys, you'll kind of just have to trust where you're turning in. But talking about overtaking too, there's a few different ways you can take that final corner, and if you run through those last couple corners, that kink, if you can put pressure on the guy and kind of hold him to a tighter line, you can brake it late and kind of do a V style turn, get on the throttle earlier than him and get a nice run. You can see as Christopher did there, swing it, brake late and swing it out nice and wide.
Yeah, as he's
Get
gonna
on the throttle earlier.
and he's gonna cross the line and go to no change on the board there for him. P16 actually. That's what it popped up as. It wasn't close there. Peter Flanner was in P3. Jacob Simmons, who finished out the session in practice in P1, has gone fastest right now with a 139.030. Trey Misek is off by 3/10, as well as Peter Flanner 4/10. I think it's going to be Jacob Simmons' provisional pole for this race. We got 5 minutes to go. And as far as the team championship goes, you got Peter Flanner and Elliot Burton sitting in 3 and 6. Chris Lambeth is down in 8 with his teammate in 1. So he's going to have to kind of do the haul of the points there. Hopefully he finishes the race strong. I'm trying to look and see if anyone has there's any sleepers here. I know I have Tyler Anderson, who has not set a time on the board. He's usually very quick. He's got Jacob Simmons right in front of him, 2.2 seconds up. And that is the penultimate corner. We'll see what time he can do on the board. Predicted to do a 140 point something.
Yeah, so you can see coming here in the turn one, the entry for it, easy, flat out. You go to this next kink, you're kind of trail braking, slowing the car down. And then turn 3 is really tight, hard braking point. So it's pretty difficult to go through there. You kind of have to already be too wide at the entry into turn 1. Or if you're brave, you can kind of size somebody up, maybe go for a lunge. But yeah, and it's got, what's difficult about this track, it's got the characteristics of a track like Portimao, I would think, is a similar example, or Sebring, where you kind of have like these similar turns. They may not look similar to us watching in an angle like this, but if you're in the car driving, you've got some sections that the turns are a little bit similar, at least the entries to them and stuff.
Oh, as Trey
And
Misek goes fastest and goes into P1 with a
bingo.
separation of .008 on that difference.
Wow.
Wow, that is impressive. Another impressive one was that when Tyler Anderson went across the line, he did a 140 even. No tenths on the board. 000 for Tyler Anderson. When I said a 140 something, that was a 140.00. What an impressive run for that lap. See if he goes a little bit quicker on this one. But wow. Jacob Simmons overtakes Trey Mistak with a .006 difference in the gap.
Crazy stuff.
Wow. Trey Missack goes back out. He's going to have enough time for one run. Wonder if Peter Flanner's going to try to do the same. What do you think about that? I mean, we also had I think we had a qualifying somewhat similarly where two drivers had the same exact time. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, if you take into account all the factors that go into driving a single lap in a car, you know, your braking points, your gear changes, all the turns, of course, and we've got traffic here as well, open qualifying. Just all the little factors that can account for gaining or losing time. It's pretty wild to see guys get within 6/1000ths of each other.
Yeah, I agree. It's quite an impressive feat, to say the least. It's even more impressive that you're looking at Trey Missack, who won't even let that settle or sit. He's went back out onto the track on an out lap to push to get one more lap in, see if he can't dethrone Jacob Simmons from that P1 spot. And we're on board with Peter Flander, who's in P3, also looking to make an impressive move against either one of those drivers. He's facing them in the Drivers' Championship right now in P2. Any predictions, Wass? Do you think it's going to go Peter Flanner, Jacob Simmons, Trey Missack, Christopher Daniel? When he was in P15 initially off of that first run that he did, but that was some banker lap because he's now put it into P3, overtaking Peter Flanner, but he's also was P5, so he's actually improved a little by little.
Yeah, I think you got things are still a big moment there. I think
yeah,
things are still in favor of Jacob Simmons and Trey Missack. The thing for them is just the conditions of practice here. Like you hear it in real life racing all the time. Like every single lap, the track's going to get faster and faster. We don't have any weather changes here as far as track temp or rain. So if you're these guys, you kind of just have to tell yourself not to push any harder necessarily, because the track's going to get faster. You kind of just want to do the same thing you did last lap, but then again, we've got championships on the line here, and you know these guys want to win. So, and you're already on the front row right now. Why not just go out there for a do or die lap?
I'll put it right on the final limit.
Yeah, these aren't real life cars. You're not going to go to the hospital if you crash. Just go out there and go. Just go out there and go for it.
As they both cross the
Put
line.
it on the line.
Did Trey Missack make an improvement? Right now, it's not showing on my screen. His last lap was not faster. He was 0.2 slower on that last lap. Peter Flanner crossing the line. Can he make a change here? Yes, he can. He goes to P3, overtaking Christopher Daniel. And just a few drivers left to go. William Creaney is in the pit lane. Going in the pit lane. And Creighton Cale's already in the pit lane. So that's it. That's qualifying. And we'll take a look at the grid. Jacob Simmons in P1, Trey Missack P2, Peter Flanner P3, Christopher Daniel P4, Tyler Anderson 5, Mark Foley 6, Cooper McCoy in 7, Chris Chitterling in 8, Dylan Maroney in 9, Elliot Burton in 10, Chris Lambeth in 11, Nicholas Mazza in 12, Jeff Koffold in 13, Logan Brakey in 14, Joshua Grasso in 15, Rodrigo Theory in 16, Andrew Cody in 17, Craig Carroll in 18, Steve McAllister in 19, Tyler Kern in 20, Eddie Smith in 21, Aspen Martin in 22, Charles Weed in 23, Eric Koonsman 24, Garen Hahn in 25, Richard DeVoe in 26, Creighton Cale in 27, William Creaney in 28, Austin McGill in 29, Trenton Jump in 30, Justin Scott in 31, Jeff Lubish in 32, Zachary Hintonhoff 33, and Eric Stamp in 34. I believe those last two drivers are new to the league here. I am not in 31st. Just not actually driving, maybe. Well, I don't know. You know, if you could imagine it, Cody, I've actually had to go down to the 50s in that opening remarks on the gridding. It is it's a lot for them out there. 31st was Justin Scott, so he had to bail. And then Jeff Lubish is having current technical difficulties, I think. Will we see any McLaren strategies? I don't think so. I think every team here, all the teammates aren't in the same position as McLaren was today. We're about to start. This pace car is going on. Look at the difference there already. Like Christopher Daniels way out of pocket on his slotting back in.
As you'll see off to the right there, that's your pit entry. The pace car goes in. Pretty interesting. Can be a little bit difficult. It's type of pit entry, almost like you'd see at Spa or somewhere, where you kind of have to go through a couple turns. So guys will have to be easier through there, not to hit any walls. But looks like Jacob Simmons nails it straight away out of the final corner. I like that.
And just going for it already.
Getting on the throttle before his opponents are even out of the corner yet. Good start there. He's got a really nice lead already.
And Peter Flanner might be able to overtake Trey Mistak, and he does so.
Trey goes off, yeah.
And then wide, but is he going to be able to keep it together? There's Christopher Daniel. Ooh, he slots in. And even further back, we have Cooper McCoy. Up one position, overtaking Mark Foley there.
Tyler Anderson getting a little out of shape.
Ooh.
Cold tires.
And you know it was going to be difficult to pass, but look at that.
I think cold tires the first couple laps, going through a lot of these technical corners, everybody's bunched up. You're going to see a lot of guys being quite opportunistic. This is where these opening laps, you really got to be on your game and make sure you're getting good exits and hitting your braking points, or else you'll surely have a guy on your heels.
Yeah,
ready to take advantage.
And Mark Foley retaking his position, like you said, just was really opportunistic there and made the move stick. And now we just have a long S. So we'll look further back in the grid. Is anyone else getting really close? We're looking at Aspen Martin in that Chevrolet Corvette, I should say. But ooh, and Eric Koonsman.
Ambition over adhesion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to do. You know, still got some cold tires, and you're really wanting to get on the throttle as early as you can. Oh, and we got a Mustang back there spinning off.
That was Chris Shitterman.
Luckily, I don't think he collected anyone.
Ooh, very close though. It's some of those drivers had
under the downshift.
Yeah,
that's a tricky braking zone because you're kind of trail braking through that second turn, which is more of a kink. You're kind of trail braking, and then once you get the car straightened out, you're stomping on the brake for the tight turn 3, and yeah, that's just really tricky through there to get that braking and turning right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as you know, as the guy in chat said, Aspen Martin spelled Martin wrong. I was like assuming it was maybe that, but maybe that's his legitimate name. I mean, I know people that are named Aspen, so it's possible. Elliot Burton's still in P10. No positions gained, no positions lost. Everyone around him has gained a couple. And back over to Cooper McCoy, who, I'll say in every race, you're always going to see him battling it out. He's not afraid to scrap. He's out there trying to make moves, but it always, to me, like, do you see on that front bumper there? It just looks like it's slightly misaligned, but I think that's part of the design of the paint
Maybe
scheme.
so. Yeah.
It's always looked like that.
Oh. And I think he's just working on Mark Foley here, kind of trying to unsettle him, maybe catch him driving in his mirrors a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely like a design. Whoa!
Oh, last minute lunge. I
And
don't know if that was an overtake attempt or just an avoidance there. Yeah, this is a good thing about GT3 racing. Like, these cars probably vary. I mean, if you put them in the hands of one single driver, they can probably put in pretty similar lap times from car to car, but they've got different characteristics. They're all good. Some of them are good at braking, some are good at accelerating, some get their lap time from their top speed, some get it from cornering speed.
ooh, let me see
And
off
we
in the
got a
distance.
Porsche off
Yeah,
in the back.
that's Andrew Cody.
I think what you saw there, that move from Cooper McCoy, is I feel like the Porsche can just brake a lot later than probably just any other car here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can be a little twitchy through some of these high-speed corners, but it's got a great traction control system, and it's really good under braking. So I think that's really what's helping them put the pressure on Mark here. He can probably brake much later.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see the difference between the Porsche and the Ferrari there. It's Nicholas Mazza
Yeah,
looks to make a move on Jeff Koffold. I think he's got it on around the outside. He's got it the inside line for the next corner, and he goes by. But look at that. I think that's Joshua
I think
Grosso who.
Joshua Grosso is going to try to take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm. As we can see clearly, Elliot Burton did make up one position and got ahead of this little pack that's formed behind him. As he's breaking away from it, he's already, you know, about 3 seconds up.
Yeah, so I think everybody's just getting settled in now.
Lambert on. We'll go back and take a look at this Andrew Cody moment.
Oh, yeah, see that. Yeah, just turns it in a little bit too late. And, as ooh. Yeah, again, that's turn 2 and 3.
Tricky as it is,
Yeah,
Jacobson's
you
just
just
setting the
get it.
fastest lap again.
You get just some of these turns, you just get the braking point slightly wrong. It's very, very hard to recover. But the most likely scenario, you're going to run off into these runoff areas. Elliot's going too wide here with Dylan. This could get spicy. Good move around the outside.
Gets it done. Gets it planted. He's pushing ahead. It's going to be a good result for Draft Punk Racing. Looks like Chris Lambeth unplugged his wheel cable. And looking down, he is in P13, just behind Joshua Grosso, down 2 positions. If that's the case, I mean, that's not bad. That's not like that isn't a bad thing. Maybe it happened on the straight. I'd assume is had to get that back in track, but not a big deal there. It's Cooper McCoy trying to go side by side with Mark Foley.
Yeah, I think these guys have been at it for about half the lap here.
I
Good
think this is
fleeting
the start.
racing. Is
He gets ahead.
Cooper's finally going to edge him out. We'll see what Mark has to say about this. We're running up in the final few corners. We'll watch here to see if Mark really swings it out to the outside and takes a wider entry and tries to get on the throttle earlier. But I think the Porsche has a lot better rotation. I do think Mark got on the throttle a little earlier there. See what the top speed of this Ferrari is like. And again, if you watch here, this first kink, pretty easy flat, and then you get on the brakes, a couple downshifts through this kink, and yeah, Cooper got a little out of shape there. Those high speed corners are the exact type that the Porsche does not like.
And look at that. We already, from looking at the race leaders here, we already have some drivers that are, already lapped. They, well, just a couple, I should say. Yeah, just one actually. And we know that Jeff Lubish had an incident. Lubish had an incident in the final corners. Look at
Oh, we've got a Ferrari off to the side back
yeah.
here. I
That's gonna be
think that's
Jeff
back
Lubish,
marker.
the back
Okay.
marker. Yeah, but this is
That
a
there
battle
made
with three
three.
now.
Mark and Elliott
Oh my. This is one of those
later
spicy things
three.
here.
Yeah. See, these Mark and Elliott have scuffled for going on 2 laps now, and it's allowed Dylan to latch on the back of him, and he's bringing some friends with him.
Yeah, it's Elliot
We
Burton.
now have like a 5-car train here.
Yeah, and they're all pretty quick. Ooh, almost look like they banged doors a little bit on the back there.
Yeah, I think so. As I think
Oh, there it is. That's a move for
watch
Elliot
out.
Burton. With that
Yeah,
exit, he's gonna go for it.
watch out for Dylan Maroney here. He'll have a good run as well.
Dylan Maroney, of Trident Ren Group. That's the you can see that Trident
And
there on the livery. His teammate is Eric Koonsman, who had an unfortunate incident uh, on his own. Didn't collect anyone on that on his that was that lap 2, lap 3.
yeah, so we're starting to see some little packs form here. You get in situations like this, you kind of start feeling out what your pace is like, whether you think you can move up or whether you're just trying to hold position. And yeah, a few laps of this, we're already seeing some of these guys start getting a little punchy.
Yeah, and look at that
Yeah,
Cooper McCoy having to defend.
yeah, it seems like Cooper's kind of still trying to figure out a few of these turns in the Porsche. Pretty new track here, newest road course on iRacing, and still something everybody's learning about tire wear. If you're gonna have to worry about overheating tires, things like that.
Yeah,
So
and as you were saying with the split in the groups here, you can clearly see there's one significant gap difference here. It's P1 to P6. You know, a lot of time on the board here, but it's Cooper McCoy to Tyler Anderson, which is a big difference. That's 3-4 seconds. Ooh, as he spins it. Oh, and he loses that front end. That is unfortunate for
yeah, I think he
Mark
may have
Foley.
gotten
I'll take a
tagged
look.
by another Corvette coming through.
Oh, he just
Hard to
lost
avoid
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets tagged by. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Logan Brakey in having a kind of unavoidable at to some degree there because what can you do? you know it's a couple fast corners, right? Probably not
Yeah.
thinking that far ahead, and there's a driver right in the way, and let's
Yeah, I
see.
mean, it's it's pretty difficult. You know, you're coming up to these corners, you've got other cars around you, you're trying to accommodate and give space. You know, you'll obviously get a warning in terms of flags when your spotter telling you somebody's off, but you don't know unless you've got somebody spotting for you and talking to you on voice chat and something like that. You don't know exactly where the car is going to be sitting, so it can be tough.
As we can see, Dylan Maroney is going into the pit lane.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wonder if he has some type of damage from.
could be damage, or could be the moment he
Uh,
decides I'm just going to undercut everybody
yes,
here. We have a mandatory
Chris
pit stop.
Lamb is getting a really good run, and um, I've noticed already as I was talking about in qualifying, you're seeing a lot of different guys taking different lines through that final corner. You know, there's probably at least 3 different lines you can take through there, and it's going to be really just
Ooh,
down as the Mustang spins.
yeah, Joshua Grosso going to lose some positions there. Maybe not too many because there is a gap forming from P10 onward. Some mini groups form, but unfortunate for him, you hate to
Yeah, it
see it.
doesn't. I don't think the track temp's too bad. I mean, maybe some of these guys might be overheating tires, but track temp's not very high, and it's you get in these packs. Sometimes you get a little greedy. Sometimes you start feeling pressure from the guy behind, or you feel pressure to keep up with the guys in front, and it's easy to lose track of what you're doing and what you need to do to
Mm-hmm.
keep putting in consistent laps and yeah, kind of get drug into what other people are doing. But yeah, we're
Uh,
starting to have some people pit here and there.
yeah, and
Um,
that's one of those unfortunate ones. You have two drivers, teammates, Dylan Maroney, Eric Koonsman, now 24th and 25th. Dylan Maroney down 15 positions off. Already gone into the pit lane though, so I should note that he doesn't have to serve another pit stop there. Oh, we have an incident we're going to go to in a second.
yeah, so this is Joshua Grosso. Yeah, I think just carrying a little bit too much speed in there, and
Oh no,
tried
yeah, no, continue.
he tried to turn into the apex, but um, kind of a last ditch effort to make the corner, and the tires just weren't having it.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought I thought Joshua Grosso had another incident, but that was the one that we saw previously. He actually went to the pit to see if he can make something happen there. Steve McAllister gets passed by Andrew Cody.
yeah, yeah, it's not a bad idea if you have, even if you don't get damage or contact, if you have these little spins like this, it's not a bad idea if you know you're going to have to pit to just come on in that lap. Gives you an opportunity to cool your tires off a little bit and, kind of reset your brain, take a breather, and settle yourself down. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like that idea of, after you have a moment like that, to just come in the pits and use that as a reset.
Yeah, and we're on board with Andrew Cody, who's been down 4 positions. We know he had something happen.
You can
Uh,
see this is a separate battle, but as we were talking about the guys up front earlier, that Porsche is just outbraking this Corvette a ton. Lines them up through this corner, the double left-handers,
oh, and it looks like
and
Steve McAllister's under
yeah,
threat.
Richard's not having it. I'm interesting to see. Now watch here.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Dylan Maroney and
goes
Steve
in
McAllister.
under the
They
little.
they come together.
You see through this final corner. See, as the Corvette runs a little wide out there, has to wait a little bit longer to get on the throttle so he doesn't run the gravel. But the Porsche rotated much better, and he can jump on the throttle a lot earlier. Get a little extra punch down this long front straight.
go to Trey Mistack. Still, we got Christopher Daniel behind in P4. Tyler Anderson's back 6 seconds, so you can really see the difference. P1 and P4 are all still close together for the most part. I mean, there is a 2.7 second gap to Jacob Simmons. You know, that Beans livery. You can always see the Beans anywhere on track. You know,
The Bean Machine.
yeah, Bush's Baked Bean with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. Thanks for naming it that, guys. Chris Lambeth and Jacob Simmons would take this away with this win. I'm not going to sure what the outcome of the driver championship is, but Trey Mistack isn't going to lose a ton of points sitting in P3, so I think he might be able to clutch on to the top step, as Peter Flanders just going to have to handle it in P2 as well. They're looking at the P3 driver in the championship winning this race if all things stay the same as they are.
I think I would say
Don't
Trey.
Yeah.
I would say Trey's not worrying at all right now. He's probably pretty comfortable just hanging out behind Peter. And Trey knows what he's doing. He's just getting towed around here and there, maybe saving some fuel too. And yeah, he's probably going to hang out here until we get to the pit stops, unless Peter makes some sort of mistake that allows him to go through. But yeah, I don't think Trey's in any real rush to try to get by here.
Yep, I'd agree.
A lot of race left.
And I definitely am not commentator cursing the Bean team. I hope they're the best for the Bean team. So we'll go over to let's get Creighton Kale in P26, still on the main lap here. Just ahead of him is William Creaney. Hope I'm saying that right. And Mark Foley all the way in the back. Mark Foley, unfortunate what happened there. He's down in 21 right now. Down 21 positions. I mean, he was rapid at this track in qualifying. Something that we're going to see him pass a lot of these cars. We can see his last lap was a 140.7. Drivers ahead of him both on 143s. And, you know, even above that, you got 141s, 148s, 144s. Like, Mark Foley is going to make some moves. It's just going to be when and where at this point. Ooh, so we have Chris Schitterling overtaking
We got a little
somebody.
drag race down through here.
Yeah, that's Logan Brakey for P12 and 13.
Careful here, boys. See if they try to go too wide. I think the horse is going to power through there. Runs a little wide. Almost, it's going to give him a peek at it into turn 3. We're going to see if Logan's going to fight him back through here. Logan on the outside, I think he might have the preferred line when we start braking, as long as the Mustang doesn't wash out into him. I mean, they were side by side. This is what I was talking about. These GT3s, they kind of have different strengths. As they were side by side down the front straight, that was 100% of the Mustang strength. But as we're going through this tight technical middle sector, we're definitely in the Porsche's territory. And Schitterling has to be pretty careful here, because
he is ahead.
You know, if you're going side by side into one of these and you try out braking that Porsche, you're going to lose out. But looks like he's kept it together. He's hit all his apexes and got some nice exits through those little tight twisty bits. So
yeah, and
he's looking in good shape. I think he might be able to pull a gap there.
Oh, we were going to go to that, but we'll switch over to Trey Mistack. I think Christopher Daniel's a little bit closer than he's ever been on previous laps. He's only 6/10 back. I think all three of them will really kind of come together here. This Jacob Simmons is ahead, 3.3. Actually, just 3 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, I'd like to see Christopher kind of latch on to the back of Trey here and see what he does, if he's going to kind of start pushing Trey to make a move on Peter, or you know, Trey could just let him go and let him have a crack at Peter. But Yeah, I think these guys are kind of just relaxing for now. We got teammates here.
Hopping positions.
Little Norris Piastri moment, not quite as drastic
Yeah, I
as
think
we
I
saw
think
earlier
Eric
today.
Koonsman knows that Dylan Maroney is just putting in faster laps.
Yeah, as we
Had an
got,
incident, and
I think we
he's
got a car off up here. Yeah.
oh,
Oh no!
what just happened
And
there?
Eric Koonsman dropped it.
Okay, we'll go over to Andrew Cody
There was a
first.
car off. Oh
Oh,
geez. Yeah, just went. I think he's sitting there.
oh, it's just saying hi.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I think he. Oh
oh no,
man.
that's a different one. Okay, we're going back one. This is Eric Koonsman.
Yeah, so he
Oh,
drops it too,
yeah,
parks it along here,
and then gets back out there. But
yeah,
that's something you got to worry about when you're on the grass.
and
You're kind of
then
messing with the tires a little bit.
just had that spin, and Andrew's tires are still hot here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's that's a pretty easy thing to do. It's kind of hard to get yourself in that. You have a spin, and you're really eager to get back going and try to uh, cut down on any time you may lose, and you want to get going and get into the next corner. It's kind of easy to forget you just fled the car, and your tires are going to be normal, a lot warmer, and not quite optimal. And yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes that can lead to more spins and off tracks. As
We get a comment in the chat. This track is honestly too dry. Cody, what are your thoughts? Too dry? We got Steve McAllister trying to make a move on
uh,
Richard DeVoe here.
well, I did the 24 hours spa this week and had about 4 or 5 hours of rain. So me personally, I've had enough rain, but yeah, I wouldn't mind watching these guys drive around some rain. Eddie Smith off ahead looks like he's probably gotten going again.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, speaking of the rain,
Ooh,
one
he's
of the
just on
few
that curbing.
GT3 races, yeah, I did hear was right at the launch of the new season. There was wet races here in the newer GT3s, and pretty difficult. It's a
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of um, variation in terms of uphill, downhill. So it's hard coming in some of these corners where it's pretty flat, and that can add to the difficulty when you've got rain and standing water. But
Absolutely. And I mean, it is 20 degrees on track. I don't feel like that's too hot. I mean, it is dry though.
that's that's not. I'm pretty surprised by that. That's
It's
actually
yeah,
pretty cool.
it is
Those are
pretty
the
cool.
type of those are the types of track temperatures you typically see at nighttime. Um, but drivers aren't complaining. I'm sure they can kind
No,
of get out there and just rag the tires and use them as much as they want to.
we got
Uh,
Dylan Maroney on Richard DeVoe
as
trying to
running
just
here, Corvette on Corvette, another got a Ferrari in here behind them. This is going to be interesting.
that is Steve McAllister trying to make up a move here. Possibly could get down. As Dylan Maroney does get ahead of Richard DeVoe. And going back over, we have Christopher Daniel and P4. Pedantic Squirrel in the chat saying, go Chris Daniel, Mr. Three-time Spa 24-hour winner. So it's an impressive
Rub
feat.
it in, why don't you?
Pax Oceani Alpha definitely needs these points. I don't think any of his. I mean, he must have told the other guys to take the day off because I don't see him in the race. Alan Paris and Alex Othen in the Bravo, so I think this is going to go to the Alpha team. Yeah, he must have sandbagged them a little bit. Must have said something. Hey, don't come to this race. We need to win P3 in the standings here to overtake the Bravo team. Because Bravo is leading for the Pax Oceani groupings here. And the Crab Cake team came in halfway through the season, so we won't actually know whether or not they were on pace to be in the running for those. Yeah, team orders to secure that champion slot. The team championship, I would say for sure, is we have a driver off. I'm not even sure who that is. Oh,
Jeff Lubbock, I believe.
yeah, Jeff Lubish. We'll first look at
Lubish.
William Creaney, who just
Oh man.
lost it there. Ooh,
Just want to say a special congrats for the fans that bought tickets in turns 1 through 3. They're getting a nice show today, as
yeah.
far as all these spins and
And we have the owner
um,
here, one of the owners here, Craig Carroll. What happened here for him?
yeah, that's a difficult corner. Me personally, I hate turns like that they start out fast and then just gradually tighten up, and you're just gradually applying more and more brake. And as I said earlier during one of our battles, that's the exact type of turn that the Porsche hates, because you're throwing it in there at high speed like that, and the rear end's just doing everything it can to swing around from you. It looks like that's what happened to Craig there.
Yeah, unfortunate. Oop, we got a driver going into the. We got some shakeups in the pit lane. Some people are going to go in and pull that undercut and see if it works out for them. Mark Foley, only now down 16 positions, is he's putting the squeeze on Steve McAllister. Whereas, I think your phrase was a
Yeah,
lot better than mine. He was edging him out.
yeah. Let's see if Mark tries to line him up through here. You see, he enters a little wider, and that way he's able to cut back coming through the corner and get on the throttle a lot earlier. So he has a run here. I think he's going to get this done, a little Ferrari on Ferrari action. It's going
I
to be
think he has
difficult
it.
for Mark too, taking that tighter line. I think he'll be extra cautious.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, it
so
goes
he
wide.
gets out on that curve and the AstroTurf a little bit, and
And we've seen that a
then
couple
that led
times.
to him running wide. Yeah, I think Mark was probably feeling probably not super comfortable, given that he's spun in that corner already, and also it can be a little tricky when you're going too wide in there. You're on the inside. You're taking a much shallower line, and yeah, it can be just add to the difficulty because you got to turn in a little bit sharper and brake a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And
This Trey
yeah, I
Misek is
think
exiting the pits here, and we'll see which takes up for him. He's P10 right now. Do you think the undercut's gonna serve him well here, Was?
we'll see. He's got Chris Lambeth right in front of him, about a second and a half up the road.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Chris has
I
not
think,
pit.
yeah, I think. Look at Chris's laps. Trey will probably catch him within the next couple laps. And
We'll do a last lap comparison. Chris Lambeth's was a 140.6, and Trey Misek on a
Trey's
yeah,
that's a that's his pit stop.
that's his pit stop.
Um,
But if we go to his best lap, who's a little quicker here,
yeah, so
that
about
would be a
half a second. So I think he'll be with him in a couple laps, but um, I'd say Chris either won't fight him or Chris will probably come in uh, to pit himself here soon.
and there's another driver going into the pit lane. In the top four, two of them have pit. This is Peter Flanner, who was sitting in P2. Christopher Daniel now inherits P2. Jacob Simmons has not gone in. Where is Trey Mistak on the board?
Yeah, it looks
He's
like
just got to get ahead of.
Chris Lambeth has come in. So Trey's got a clear track ahead of him right now.
Now, where is that driver in relation? You can see him right there, and he's going to be well ahead of Peter
Really gaining a
Flanner.
lot on Peter there.
Yeah, that's 4 seconds. That's quite the difference. That is quite the difference
Yeah,
in
I
the pit stop.
wonder. I wonder if there's just a big difference in fuel there, or if Peter had some sort of traffic or issue on his end lap there. As we got Chris coming out real close. We're gonna battle straight away out of the pits.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a little tricky here. It's not ideal when you want to go for a battle because you've gotten used to being on pretty low fuel, and all of a sudden you've got 20 or 30 more liters tacked on, so it can
And
definitely affect the feel and balance of the car. As we've got our P1 and P2 coming in.
and we'll definitely get a good look and see who's at Tyler Anderson goes in. We might see Elliot Burton make the move. He's going in. Trey Mistack. Now he's towards the pit lane. How close is he going to be? He's almost to the penultimate corner as he's about to take round it. Where's this going to be for him and Jacob Simmons, who's already popping out? That's probably a good move there. But Daniel might get caught up here.
Yeah, I think Trey's gonna be ahead of Christopher there, but good stop, nice and tidy by Jacob. And
extremely. Look at that. Christopher Daniel got the move done on Peter Flanner, who stopped actually before. So that was that was an overcut that worked for Christopher Daniel.
It looks like, I think Trey was about 4 seconds behind Jacob Simmons when all those pit stops kicked off, and now he's within 2.
Yeah, so, great result for Trey Mistack on his move.
Either Trey had a lot of pace in hand when he was following Peter around, or he may have rolled the dice a little bit in terms of fuel, or he might have just, once he got in clean air, he just banged out 2 or 3 fast laps and made up some time. So we'll see if he tries to push up to Jacob here or not.
I mean, you gotta look at that. He's 6.7 seconds back to Jacob Simmons in P4. I mean, that's rough for Peter Flanner.
I just wonder if he got some traffic or had some sort of mistake, or went extra cautious with the fuel. I mean,
difficult to say.
I mean, he could have pulled one of my classic maneuvers and overshot the pit stall. That's my party trick.
Yeah, I think
that could definitely cost a few seconds.
It could. Maybe he took. It's 28 laps. Doubt he would take like just lefts or rights or something.
I don't think so, no.
But you could see the damage on Mark Foley's car. He's only down 8 positions now, which is pretty impressive at the start of this race. He's really just chugging this thing through. I'm kind of wondering if he's going to have enough fuel for the end of this race. He pit 12 laps ago.
Yeah, and credit to Mark as well. He's had a cut. He's had a spin, and he's found himself at the back, and he's coming up to guys. I mean, I rating is not a direct indicator, but he's coming up to guys that he probably has a lot of pace difference to, and Mark's been respectful and clean making up these positions. He's not throwing one up the inside from a few car lengths back. He's just nice and steady, just climbing back up the field. But
yeah,
and you see, he does have a little damage there on the front left of his bumper. I wonder if he may have. Sometimes that can kind of be a sign that he might have smacked the wall, which could mean he might be running with a little bit of wheel damage as well. Oh, the Porsche dropped it. Careful, boys.
They did not.
Barely tags Aspen there, but I think they're going to get away with it.
I think so. Jacob Simmons setting the fastest lap, overtaking Trey's fastest lap. Wow. These guys aren't done at the top of the field. We got Eddie A. Smith, 0.7 away from Garen Hahn. Not much change, though. I mean, Eddie Smith did have a couple spins, and he's relatively in the same. He's got Steve McAllister 18 seconds back. Ahead of him, he's only racing one driver closely. Craig Carroll's 3 seconds ahead. So this is his one thing to do before this race ends, to try to get past this driver.
Yeah, I think. Oh, careful there. Yes. I think Eddie's kept it a lot tighter through that little technical section. You saw coming out of that last turn, he just saw Garin. I think it's struggling a little bit with understeer, as that's put Eddie right on his heels. I think if you're Eddie here, you've seen Garin struggling, make a couple little mistakes. You kind of just want to keep the pressure on him. Stay right there in his mirror, and just have yourself ready to pounce the next time there's a mistake.
One, not just yet. He's still in his rear.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I want to see how they do through this section coming up, this tight technical stuff, because I think that's where Eddie made up a lot of time on him.
And the last lap was not much different, though. You were looking at a 142. It's that 5 thousandths of a tenth difference.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at the vertical score sheet there, the timing sheet, you got Jacob Simmons with 5 laps to go in P1 down to P15. It's almost a full minute gap. It's at 159 to Tyler Kern. That is quite a pace difference you can see over the course of a race that he's gone here with them.
And
extremely impressive. Oh, as we're gonna hop over to Nicholas Mazza. He's going on a battle, very close. Ooh, and he gets ahead.
Oh, and there's a Corvette off. That's Aspen Martin.
Yeah, because he's going to rejoin the track safely, and just like the back of Nicholas Mazza's bumper says, "Oh no." But he also,
anyway,
we take those. He's probably thinking that to himself. It's a position.
If we can check here, I think Trey Mistack's almost a half a second behind Jacob Simmons right now.
Yeah,
He's closed up to him a lot.
Yeah, that 1.8 second
gap. Kind of looking like to me, Trey was just hanging out the first half of the race, chilling, keeping his tires underneath him, and he's got some pace to use here. We'll see if Jacob Simmons has an answer for it.
We've seen Jacob Simmons win some races. He's a formidable driver. All the drivers in the top, 10 are, extremely quick. Not saying the ones outside are not quick. It's just the ones battling in the, I'd say 1 to 5 really show how strong they are lap by lap. Right now you can even look at it. Tyler Anderson is extremely fast. His fastest time is probably similar to the drivers ahead of him. But he's 17 seconds back to Jacob Simmons. That really goes to show you, even the fastest guys, the consistency is a little different. And we'll pop over to Tyler Kern, who's right there on the heels of Nicholas Mazza. I think that might be that he actually just lost out of position. I think Nicholas Mazza got ahead of him there.
Good to see we've got battles all throughout the field.
Mm-hmm. And there's William Creaney, who's letting that driver by. This might... lap traffic might cause a bit of a kerfluffle.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's some cooperation here between the Corvette boys.
Yeah, in this league, it is, if if you're lap traffic, to make it easy for these drivers to get by you. So
Yeah.
the
Even
blue
as
flag's on.
I don't think Trey's necessarily been impeded yet. He's definitely
Yeah,
full.
that's definitely gonna that's gonna be
That's
rough.
gonna cause some. Um, Even this just following around like this in the dirty air, that's gonna cause him to scrub his front tires. As I think he's ready to go by. I'm not really sure
I don't. I mean, William
what's
Creaney.
going on here.
I don't know. This is a driver I haven't seen before. This might be his first race,
And
but I don't think
yeah,
he.
looks like he lifts off there and finally lets it go.
Yeah, you think he would have done it on the straight? That's where it really cost me. Look at the time difference now. That's a 2.1 gap, 2.2.
And
Lap traffic really played a part in that one with 3 laps to go. That's unfortunate.
yeah, we saw William blinking a little bit there, and I think that probably caused Trey to be a little bit apprehensive. And like you said, that little straight was an ideal time to let it happen, but I think there was just a little bit of misunderstanding there as far as who was going to move to which side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here was 2 laps to go. You kind of hate to see that.
You hate to see
Uh,
it,
yeah, kind
but
of
it's
affect
racing.
the battle for the lead. Yeah, it is racing. Part of it.
Let's gonna go look over this real quick. We have Elliot Burton, who was in P7. He's still P7. I think he's got the grace
Oh,
of that being not that bad and is able to start this back up. Jeff Koffold is behind him, but probably slow down a little bit more because he knew he was sitting in that apex. Keeps it together on track and stays right there. So really fortunate for him. He still got Jeff 1.1 behind, but that spin did not cost him anything for this race. Those are the type, the ones you kind of want to see. Eddie Smith still not by Garen Hahn, who he's been pressuring for, I would say, like 5 or 6 laps now. Was so
yeah.
definitely was a while ago. So we got the white flag. We're gonna go over to Jacob Simmons. They'll see where he's at on track. I'm not even sure if he can. Think this might be it for him. Yeah, and Jacob
Yes,
Simmons
there's the
wins this
checkered
race. Trey
flag.
Mistak is right behind in P2. Christopher Daniel takes P3. Peter Flanner in P4. Tyler Anderson rounding the final corner. He's going to take P5. These guys just had a difficult one. It was a battle that was almost on the hands, but that lap traffic really did cause a kerfluffle, if you would. Cooper McCoy keeping it on track. P6 for him. Elliot Burton right behind into P7. Jeff Koffold's just behind in P8. Chris Lambeth, no one to really contend with. He's going to take P9 right here. Rodrigo Theory, also another driver who's just got a little bit of a gap to everybody. He's going to take P10. Chris Chitterling, P11. Dylan Maroney, not really. I mean, he's sort of battling out with Mark Foley, but Dylan Maroney is going to take P12. Mark Foley into 13. What a recovery drive for Mark Foley. Nicholas Mazza is going to take P14. Now, Tyler Kern really has to worry here. These 3 drivers are all battling for the last points here. Who's it going to go to? I'm not even sure. I think it's going to stay with Tyler Kern. Across the line they go. Tyler Kern keeps it. Logan Brakely in P16 behind him. Aston Martin in P17. No change in the order there as Charles Whedon goes to P18. Craig Carroll 19. Eddie Smith into 20. Garen Hahn in 21. So he did get past him. Steve McAllister in 22. Richard DeVoe is going to finish this in 23. Andrew Cody is still out there, 24. And we'll go over Trey Mistak's doing some donuts. Creighton Kale in 25. Eric Koonsman in 26. William Creaney in 27. Jeff Lubish in 28. Joshua Grasso in 29. Drivers that did not actually start no mentions there, as none of them actually were on the grid. Uh, Bean team wins this one out, and that is the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. Barring any issues there, Chris Lambeth did have a strong finish in P9, so it'll be interesting to see what the points shake up for the team championship. But it looks like Trey Mistack with that P2 is going to finish the driver's championship in P1, winning the championship for uh, this season 9. Cody Wassum joining me here. What are your thoughts?
Um, yeah, kind of not surprised in a way that we had spins going on. I think that was kind of expected. Newer track. Some of these guys might not have even raced on it before. And yeah, it's a pretty difficult technical track, but I think we saw a lot of good wheel to wheel racing. It was really cool. First half of the race, seeing the guys forming up in packs and getting in little trains with each other, and it's really really cool to watch Trey kind of just hanging out there up until the pit stop and throwing down some banger lap times and
Yeah, him and Jacob
putting some
Simmons.
pressure on Jacob there at the
Yeah,
end.
they were trading fastest laps at the end of that race, just one after another. It was pretty impressive. They were still going for it.
Yeah, and I think again from P1 and 2, and then down in the teens and 20s, we had guys battling and running bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel. I can't remember who it was, but I think we saw a few guys running side by side for half a lap or more at times.
Yeah, Cooper McCoy
Uh,
and I think Mark Foley really gave us some really good racing at the first half before the pit stops. It was an impressive race for all of those
yeah,
guys.
really good wheel to wheel stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for joining us for the end of season 9. It was a great season. Thank you, Cody Watson, for joining me as a co-commentator in the booth here.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
everybody in the chat that was talking and watching this race. I appreciate it, and everybody have a good evening.